Okay, I've already cut the chines off, or where the head used to be. Look at that beautiful wood. Look at that grain. Quarter sawn. Solid white oak. Anyway, I've scraped all the charcoal off. And the next step is to cut these. Okay, yeah, it's pretty dirty, but if you want, you can take it outside and power wash it, both sides. You want to keep things clean, because I don't care. But if you do wash it, don't use heavy soap, because you'll contaminate the wood. You want to keep it just natural the way it is. So anyway, this is beautiful wood. I mean, look at that grain. Listen to this. Hard as a rock. Hard to believe we're going to be bending this, but we will. So I'll be back. I got to make 24 of these. Actually, I'm going to make about 26, because one of them always screws up. It's got run out or something, and it's always better just to go ahead and make some extra ones. So I'll be back. Okay, next step. Always look for metal. This old wood, you never know what's in it. I got my high-tech metal detector right here. It's just a magnet. I think it's a 5-pounder. Throw a little piece of wood on there to accent any movement. Help me to see it. And we just go and check. I've already checked all of these. So, just to give you an example of how sensitive this is, I'm going to tape a washer right there. Watch that very carefully. Actually, I'm going to focus on it. Okay, watch very carefully. I'm going to go where I know it is. Hey, stop. See it move? Whoop. It moved. It doesn't move here. It doesn't move there. But when you go over the actual... Whoop. It moved. Okay. So, high tech, I think I'll get a patent on that. Okay, next step. Next step. Oh, actually, save that one. I'm saving this big fat one for the heads. Oh, we just... Next step. Put a little tape on here. That piece I'll save to make a little barrel. Okay.
I really only dated President a few times, but unfortunately it was just at the wrong time.
I'm sorry. I sure wasn't much help clearing your name, was I? But even the FBI hasn't been able to find that money. However, you have a new case. Maybe I can be more helpful.
See, my pattern
Well,
is,
it's sort of the same one.
it can
This is
bend.
the City Advocate. It was sent to me by mail.
It bends nicely. Okay, I'm gonna line that up a little better. Tape. Put the tape on there because I'm blind. I can't see. If you can see a pencil line, go for it.
It was clipped to the newspaper.
Okay.
Well, I have a
So,
pretty good
we
idea.
mark it.
Anyway, what I find out. I'm going back and find Fred Swan and find out what he did with that money. At least he was always polite to me.
26 or 25 to go. I'll leave about 1/16 of an inch. That way we don't have to tax those 1/4 inch router bits too much. And I'll save that for making 2 little staves. So I'll be back to the next stage, which will be planing these. Adios. Okay, they're all rough cut, about 1/16 of an inch. Time to plane them down. Oh, that cleans it up a little bit. Alright, I made a mistake the first time by holding these with my hands, and I managed to take the tip of my thumb off. So that's not a very good idea. So I use this. And this is a lot better. That holds it pretty well. Make sure you got enough here so you don't eat up your clamp. She's ready to go. Now, very important, because this thing, in combination with the vacuum cleaner, it sounds like a air raid siren. Okay, here we go. The whole point is just to get down a nice clean wood. I want to take off as little as possible because I want to keep as much meat as I can that I dare keep. Isn't that beautiful? Look at all that flake. And I don't worry about that because the chine hoop's going to be there. Got a little run out here, no big deal. Look at the grade, perfectly straight. So that's the next step. Of course, you want to avoid trying to just make this flat. That's not the point. If you keep going, it's just going to get flatter and flatter. But I don't want to flatter it. All right, I've got to go through all of those, and then we'll get to the next step. So, hasta los huevos. Okay, this works pretty well. I can keep the chine very consistent. I've even got the curve this way, but it's nice and flat down in here. So here we go. So on and so on. Okay. Well, we're getting there. Might as well show you my shop while I'm at it. I apologize for the mess. Not much room in here. It's a terrible scene. Anyway, it works. Okay, next step, we'll be going to the bandsaw. Before we go to the bandsaw, I've got to mark all of these. Like there, I'm going to try to get away with 5/8 of an inch. Five-eighths. That's going to be real challenging to bend it. We'll see what happens. Anyway, that's going to the bandsaw. This is why you make extras. I didn't see that originally, that knot there. I can use it if I have to. Here's another extra. Those were wedges put in there because the barrel leaked at one time. And I can see why, because it's got this huge knot right there. So I probably won't use that. This one, that end came out nicely, but this end was that small. And I can just barely use it, but I can use it if I have to. But fortunately, I made 4 extra. This one's in good shape. So off to the bandsaw. I got myself a block here that I use to keep it square, because the wood wants to tilt like that. So I just hold it up against that square block while I cut it. Okay, turn on the back. Okay, it still looks pretty good, good enough. That there is a stave. It's a rough cut. And the next step is going to be, I'm going to flush cut all of them to get as much meat off of these things before I cut the bevel, because these router bits with a 1/4 inch shank they don't have the muscle, so I have to take off as much as I can slowly. So that's the next step. I'll be back. Back again. All right, I've got this dogged in place. On to the next high-tech, neighborhood-friendly routing, which is here. I'm going to flush cut this one just to get rid of as much meat as I can before I bevel it. So we go over here to my high-tech dust removal system, very neighborhood-friendly. I don't see anybody. Gotta feed the termites, you know. Termite friendly. Alright, that's nice and smooth. Now, while I've got it dogged in place on the pattern, it's time to cut the bevel, because I'm all set up. Oh, well, I'm all set up. Okay. Here's another high-tech dust removal system. Vacuum. 25 pounds of lead shot. Okay, here we go. I've got this one set at 7.5 degrees because I'm using 24 staves. I need earphones for this. Dog wants to come in. Okay. Here we have a very nice stave. Nice and sharp. You can cut yourself with that. 7.5 degrees. One down. Until the next episode, adios. Here we go again. Alright. Now, I don't know if this step is necessary, but probably it won't hurt. But the router leaves a washboard effect. Right there. It's kind of washboardy. So, we'll take time, try to get it off. So you gotta be careful with this, or it'll take off too much. Feels pretty good. Little washboard there, but I don't dare go at it because it's really hard to hold this thing stable on there. It's so easy to rock. If it was a bigger stave, that'd be a different story. But this little guy here, very sensitive. So I'll touch it up over here. Bumps. I take a little 80 grit. Woo. Baby's ass. Yeah, I got a little tiny bit there. I'm not worried about that. That guy's ready to go. So I'm going to put him over there and finish him up. And then we'll get to the fun part of raising up the barrel. I'll be back again. Time to raise it up. We went arriba. Okay, here we go. Not being a professional cooper, I have to cheat. This just stabilizes everything because I'm fundamentally spastic. There. That gives me some kind of control. It definitely looks liquid tight, don't you think? Okay, for the sake of the camera. I'll start over there.
You're not filming. Are you filming?
Yeah,
Ah,
you come in. Doggy, yeah, that's liquid tight. Alright. There. Control. It's under control. Go down to the floor. Hey, Sophie. We get out the heavy artillery. Get a little tighter. Anyway, just work it on down till you get it just right. That's not really that important. I'm gonna fudge with it for a while and then I'll be back and then we'll steam it. So until then, see you soon. Alright, before you steam, you want to get everything set up because you don't want anything to go wrong because it's very annoying. So, this baby's ready to go. I like to put a hoop down around the middle just to keep it from cracking. Doesn't always work. Anyway, when I pull this thing out of the steamer, I'm going to bring it over here. I'm going to put it right there. Now I've made myself a clove hitch. Just throw it over like that. Tighten it up a little bit and start cranking. Now, it's important know, in some videos you'll see people will go around once. Don't do that, because it'll go flying on you. If you got somebody to hold it down, that's great. But if you're doing it alone, what you do is you tie a clove hitch. Well, you don't even tie a clove hitch, but I'll zoom in on that so you can see it. See what happens, that clove hitch contains itself. It can't go anywhere. If you have just one turn, it's going to want to flip it off. So, just make sure everything's ready. This is my 2-ton setup here. That's Molly. Hey Molly, what are you doing? That's my 2-ton come along. Ooh, look at that spider. Hey, get out of here. That's scary. That guy's big. Oh well. Also, sorry about all the jerking around here. That's the steamer. Just a good old garbage can. What I'm gonna do, this baby, you just put it inside. Just like that. Top on it. Usually you steam about 1 hour per inch of thickness. So we're gonna steam this about 1 hour, just to be sure. Also, want to make sure you're wearing a long sleeve shirt when you get ready to take this thing out of here. So you got to reach all the way in. Oh, where's that spider? It's getting kind of scary in here. All right. Say goodbye, Molly. Goodbye. Goodbye, Molly. Want to go outside? Okay. All righty. Here we go again. Drinks are served. It's only 10 o'clock in the morning. But this is a special occasion. Ready. Just turn off the gas. Okay. That smells good. All that wine, tequila. It's hot. Hot, hot, hot. Okay. Let's get that baby down there. About there. Lots of weight, even though I don't really need it. That's about 40 pounds. All right. Make sure it's in the picture. looking pretty good. I don't know what that bang was. It didn't sound good. It's hot. I think we got it. It's still pretty hot. Don't need that. Still hot. Alright, check for cracks. Looks really rough, but it came out very well. This thing's still pretty hot. (142 degrees). Alright, well, we're going to let that cool off. And we'll get to the next step. Oh, very important. I christened thee. Oh yeah, the dogs are in there. Go get him, Sophie. Go get him. Cheers. Okay, here we are with the Tunnel of Love again. Always a good idea to have somebody to hold the barrel for you. Hold your ears. got out, huh?
Yeah, is she alright?
Did he bite her?
Well, he went for it because she went after his ball.
Oh.
I think she scared her more than anything.
Oh.
Mommy went to the bathroom and opened the thing.
Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry. She seemed to be she won't go near him again. I know that. Come on, Chippy. Come on. Sorry. Come on. Don't worry, Shane.
More fights. Well, Sophie's fine. She snuck out while I was sanding, and she encountered Shane. And Shane is not nice. That's a dog. Okay, well, I ground this down with 60 grit discs, and then I went over it with the DA with 100 grit. The last thing I'm going to do with this barrel is put the final finish on it. So it's Hoop Town. Last time I made a barrel, I decided to turn it into a drum, so I didn't need these bougie hoops. So I'm going to use them here. General rule is you want the bottom of the bougie hoop to be at 1/3 of the barrel, which just happens to be 5 inches, which is right there. This hoop, by the time I'm done, it's probably going to wind up there, so it's perfect. So I'm going to use it, and when it's time to make the chime hoops, I'll demonstrate how those are made. So, it's very important with this galvanized, it's really slippery and it's really hard to get the hoop to bite. So I'll rough it up with the grinder, it's about 60 grit, and then you need to chalk the hell out of it like this. Just give it a good chalking. Like that. There you go. Okay. Now I'm going to pick which stave I want the splice to be on. I usually pick one that's obvious, like that one. Very visible. And I want to make sure that this end is about halfway into the next stave, or at least into the next stave. But preferably you want to keep the two rivets in the middle. So I'm biting into the next stave with that end, so that's good. You just don't want it to be there where it's going to push that stave in. So we're going to start right there. That's good enough. These are going to be coming off later. All right, so when you start a hoop, you start it gently, because otherwise it's just gonna, I'll hit here, it'll go up there, I'll hit here, it'll go up there. So you want to just very gently. It's bitten. It bit me. Time for the floor. again. And even gentle blows with this. Let's check for alignment here. Ooh, scratched. That's looking good enough. Like I said, that's going to be coming off. That arrow marks, I've got this thing cut at an angle like that. No, like that. So it'll stay on the hoop. See, I can start to really whack on it now. You can hear it get tighter. Anyway, that baby's on there. You see, I'm only I'm 3/4 of an inch off regulation 1/3. So who cares? Good enough for me. All right, now I'm gonna do the other one. All right, got them both on. Time to take the chime hook off. You can see it's stayed pretty much tight, and that's because this hoop is well into the 1/4. If I had that too far down, this would open up a lot. So, ready to sand the chimes. It hardly budged at all. I can sand all this. Then I'll make the hoops. Hasta los huevos. Okay, sanded down the chime. This is very critical. You want to get that as fair as you can because you're going to be referencing off the outside of the barrel to determine the chime on the inside, the groove. So you want to take a little extra time, make sure this is pretty fair because you're going to want it to marry up with a perfect circle. So if this is not a perfect circle, well, it doesn't have to be that perfect, but just take a block, spend a little time at 45 degrees, like you would normally do when you're ferrying something around. You just feel for the high spots and bring them down. You only need to do it 1 inch up. And get it as close as you can, as much time as you want to spend on it. Anyway, I just want to let you know that that's what you reference off for the next stage. It's like the foundation of a house. If you don't start right, that's it. You're in trouble. All right. I've already put the hoop back on the other side. It's the same hoop that I used for raising the barrel up. As you see, I've gone down another 1/4 inch because of all the sanding I did. So that's what I want because I want to measure that. And that's not going to go any tighter now. That hoop there has got the barrel where it's going to be. So what I've done is I've taken a seamstress's tape or any fiberglass tape and cut a little strip long enough to do these 4.5 gallon pins. So what I'll do, leave about 1 inch there. I usually measure this is exactly where I'm hoping the next hoop will land. This fiberglass tape has 0 stretch. Alright, get to the end here. Take a little piece of 2-inch tape, which I will mark the spot right there. Using 2-inch tape gives me the extra 2 inches I need. It gives me that extra 2 inches. I'm going to cut my band or hoop that length. And in the next video, we'll make some hoops. And we'll be back. Sophie says, good morning. Alright. Here is 1-inch wide 16 gauge hot rolled steel. It's good stuff because it's malleable, easy to work with, and galvanized. I get the local ironworks shear me up some of this stuff in 10-foot lengths. Alright. This is what we did the last time. We measured the head of the barrel. Alright, simple enough. We line that up with the end. Stick the tape down. This galvanized is kind of hard to mark with a pencil, so I just used a Sharpie. You just draw right over the edge of the tape, like that. That way you just cut on the, just take away the mark. Okay, now we're off to the chop saw. There it is. Okay, this blade's way too small, but all I do is just put a little piece of wood there. Okay, I just have to remember I'm just taking off the mark. Hold your ears. Back to the table. Hi, Toby. Are you following me? I made this jig to help me be consistent with drilling the holes. Clamp that baby on there. Center punch. And all we need is a hammer. Where did it go? Oh, right in my face. Too much wine, I guess. Right in the hole. 1, 2. Then I flip it over like that. And go to the other end. Line it up. Okay. 2 there. 2 there. Now we go to the drill. Okay. Thread cutting oil. A little dab. And back to the table. This chuck needs help. I flared that over because the rivet needs someplace to go, so it gives it a better bite when it's hollowed out like that. That's going to be the outside. If I flip it over, this is going to be the inside. So I'm going to hollow that out a little bit. That way when I peen over the rivet, it'll have a good bite inside that cavity. Alright, I will be back for the next phase. It's hoop-de-doo time. You want to make a pattern first. All you do is just get a bunch of short pieces of paper and you tape them to wherever you want your hoop. You just tape them all together and it'll be sticking out here, and then you mark it with a pencil. Oops, I guess you can't even see that. It'll be sticking out like that. You mark it with a pencil, cut it, and you wind up with a pattern. A rough approximation of what you were looking for. Now, in the old days, when they made a hoop, they took the stock and they just started hammering away on one side. What that does, it bruises the metal and forces one side out, and the other side just stays put. And you wind up with a conical shape. Kind of hard to see, and when you do it that way, it gets pretty beat up, but it gives it a kind of a nice antique patina. But I was going to make a few barrels, so I went to the trouble of making my own splayer, because that's what it's called. It's called splaying. Here's my Splay Master. Instead of paying thousands of dollars for a splayer, I made my own. These are rollers that have something to do with trailer hitches. And it works. It's slow. But what I do is take a little bit of acetone and get the oil off of them, because you want them to bite. Yeah, see, I drilled 1/2-inch holes every third, and then I use these bars as a lever. So, of course, like, everybody's got to have their shims and their controls. High-tech stuff. Alright, anyway, it's important to get all the oil off of these things because it will slip in my splay master. That's a little acetone. Okay, that's the good side. So flip it over. I'm just gonna rough up the bad side. Just give it a better bite. Alright, song friend. Okay. It's the bad side on the one that I'm moving. Get started. And off we go. Oops, that's not tight enough. Just get a little bit. Doesn't take much. That's still not tight enough. Like anything, you get used to it. Yeah, I've got a good strain on that now. Yep, this is not a production machine, but it does a good job. Just have to bear with me. Sophie, you're gonna get skewered in a minute. Better look out. Oops. That's Sophie. Yeah, that first time around, there's my pattern. First time around didn't do much, as you can see. But I'm gonna give it that much. Too much. My little hoop. I got it. Look at that. It bent. Now, let's see how. Not quite there yet. I'm going to go through one more time. Did I do a good job, Sophie? You're gonna have to move. Look at that stubborn dog. You gonna move or what? Well, she knows she can get away with anything. I love her. You moved. You got hooped. Alright. Look at that. Too much, but too bad. It's not that far off. Close enough. Alright. And I got another high-tech tool around here someplace. There it is. High-tech bender. Go. All right, that's my good side right there. So time to start bending. Pretty close. All right, see how the holes line up nicely? Okay, the next step is to make our own rivets. Rivet. So I'll be back. We got just a regular carriage bolt here. And I'm going to get rid of the square part right there. I want it to be round. There, it's round. Come on, baby. There we go. Kind of short and ugly. Okay, little hot tamales. This is my hard spot on the table, and my super anvil. This is just a die for setting snaps. Your standard size snap, like on my phone right here. As you can see, it's almost identical. So you're gonna want earphones for this. You got the first one right there. good. Oh, there it is. Well, anyway, just good enough to get it on there. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rough up the inside, then I'm going to chalk it and whale it on there. You can see I've got just enough where I can get it started all the way around. And I've got to drive that baby all the way down. That's the next step. Ta-da! All hoops are done. It's actually beginning to ring, even without the heads. It means it's gluten tight. I think it needs to be christened again. Oh. There you go. Well, next step, we'll be cutting the crows and the howl. That's going to be fun. Okay. Cheers. Okay, here's another weird contraption. I got a router down in there. This is just a regular 3/4 inch router bit. This is something I made that controls the speed. It's basically, I made it long so if someday I want to make a full-size barrel, I can take that off and use it. Anyway, we got controls with the bearing. Really high-tech stuff. That's my high-tech lock, because this thing, that will start vibrating open if you don't lock it. All right, well, let's give it a whirl. And I'll be right back. All right, I marked one hoop just so I know which is which. I can always find out later, but it saves time. Anyway, we gotta get these babies off. They come off a lot easier than they went on. Boing. Okay. And we'll go back to the machine. See, I've even got a box down there for the vacuum. So let me get set up for this. Where's the barrel? Oh, here it is. What I do is I sit on it like a horse. there. Let me just give a test run here. Works. I got a light I made this to stick in there. It's just got a hook on it. Hey, how's it going down there? All right, back on. How's that do? Yeah. Feels pretty good. I like it. Oh, I'll go do the other one. Good. Okay. Let's stop. All right. Here's, I don't know what to call this thing. Maybe the howler, or the chime master. All right, we got to change our bit over to this thing, 1/4 inch. Look. There's something in there. It's a good old DeWalt flush cut trimmer, I guess you call it. There we go. Let's get a little closer. Okay, now this thing you can set up any angle you want. I'm going to make sure it's good and tight. There we go. Any angle you want. But I gotta get it way over here. Of course, I'm not set up. My fault. Okay, gotta have a better angle than this. Okay, that's tight. We're gonna go like this. Sometimes that baby gets in there a little too tight. So we gotta give it a little help. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna put that on 0. And I don't want it to go anywhere, so make it good and tight. She feels good. Now, we'll put that back on. The shave horse, that's where I clamp it onto that. A shave horse I made and I've never used. Maybe one day. Here we are, back in the saddle again. Okay. That router bit is really wide, so I don't like running it at full speed. It's just scary. So I control the speed. that and turn on the vacuum cleaner. Yeah. That's all you need. Just something to grab hold of that head. All right. Uh-oh, I got my phone all dirty. All right. See you soon. Here we are again. It's time to get ahead. Or make a head. What I do is find a conspicuous seam, or any spot really. And we're going to use the compass. And we're going to go around 6 times. And it has to land right back where you began. 6 times around. It's a good idea to have a nice sharp compass too. So I'll just start right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It landed right on it. And that's because I had already done this 6 times all the way around. Very simple. All right, now we're gonna go look up some old scraps and see what we can make a head out of. I'll be back. All right, I've scrounged up enough scrap for 2 heads. Because 2 heads is better than 1. And I made myself a pattern. I made it a 1/2 inch too big. You want to play it safe. It's a lot easier to float this thing around to determine what you want to do. The important thing with this is you don't want to have any dowels near the edge, because I'm going to be tapering it up to here, the head that is, and I don't want to expose any dowels. So that one goes over there, that one goes there. The only problem is my router or planer, that thing, it's only good for 3 inches. So I'm going to have to rip these guys in half, mainly because, as you can see, if I tried to flatten that whole board, I'd have to take almost a 1/4 inch off. And that wouldn't leave me much room for my 5/8 that I'd like to get out of this. But by ripping it in half, I only have to take off 1/8. So I'm going to go ahead and rip all these in half. That one, that one, that one, that one, and that one. So, also, this poster board makes a great pattern material. It's very stable. All right, I'm going to go rip them in half, and then I'm going to go to the planer. See you then. Back again. Okay, I've got them all cut or ripped. It'll be a lot easier to flatten those. These are all cut. Oops. And I got one ready to plane. Just a reminder, if you'll remember with the staves, I rocked it because all I wanted to do was get clean wood. It was kind of like sanding it. But the head pieces we want to get flat. So I'm going to try it. That's all I mentioned. Let's see. I always label this planer, says switch is on, just because I always leave it in this cradle. That way if I lend it to a friend he'll still like me. Hold your ears. Wow, I tripped a breaker. Well, anyway, you've seen enough. I have a message. All right, now it's time to square up the edges. I planed them flat, and now I want to square the edges. So make sure your fence is square. And I'm going to do both sides. Looks good. Nice sharp edge. Nice and flat. And I'm going to hopefully get 5/8 out of that. So, etc., etc. I'll be back again. Here we go again. Got to do some ripping. Just in case you're wondering, that used to be a spiral cut barrel where they tried to expose more wood to rejuvenate the barrel, get more extraction out of the wood. But I don't need it, it doesn't bother me. It's like real lumber. one came out a little strange, but I'll just make sure I use that side of it. Yep, we'll make it, because this is oversized. It's looking good. You just have to dowel it all together. And there we go. Looks like we made it. I can get, I'll probably start it right there. And put it there. And clear here. Clear there. All the way around. That's good. So that's what we want. So I think I'll put it a little further in. Yeah. Yeah, that's faster. All right, now I've got a visible crack right there. So I'm going to take down the ends just a little bit over here. That's better. That's better. I'm gonna do one more time. Yeah, that's good enough. All right. Now, get out the old doweling jig. And there's my mark. I don't know if you can see it. There's a little tiny mark on the jig itself. You line it up with the pencil mark. Tighten it up. I'm favoring the inside. It just gives me a better chance of not digging into the dowel when I taper the head. All right. One there. Okay, that's one. See, I've favored the bottom, or the inside of the barrel. Now we need some dowels. You can buy these store-bought ones, but they're fluted. That's so that when you use glue, it lets the glue ooze out. Gets rid of all the air, but you don't want to use those. You want to make your own and use solid without the flute. And I just marked off 1 inch, as many as I need. And just make your own. Uno, dos, tres. They're easy. Preferably oak. This is, I think, I don't know what it is. Anyway, these things, because there's no flue, they can swell up in the wood with everything else. And you can clean it up a little bit to make life a little easier. There we go. I'm not going to glue these. Oop. Make sure you go to the right side. Bam! Look at that. I just made a plank. Okay, well, we're gonna do all of this. Another 2, 4, 6, 8 more. So, oh yeah, let's get out the old sign. Look, a circle, almost. All right, time to scribe. This video is getting awfully lengthy. Okay, pretty simple. I take the time to clamp it. I don't know if it makes a difference, but over the years, this is going to compress more because of its orientation to the grain. If you try to push against the grain, it doesn't shrink that much. But at right angles to the grain, yeah, that's going to compress even more. And some people, they'll actually open up the dividers just a hair to give it a little more meat on the ends. And then they'll put the dividers back so that it's the correct angle on the grain. But this is so small, nothing's gonna happen. Anyway, this is why you have a sharp compass. I'm gonna give it a good scratch. Make sure you get a compass that doesn't drift on you, especially when you get into following the grain over in here, because the grain wants to take over. It's easy to do against the grain, but when you go with the grain, it wants to find a little path. So make sure I mark the hell out of that. Just do it lightly, a little bit at a time. All right, let's go to the bandsaw. Looking good, man. I splurged and bought this really nice bandsaw. It's a Rikon. I really like it. Did a few modifications. Anyway, this way I tension it. I made my little switch. Just put a little wire through there. There we go. She's ready. Look at this light. Just buy a magnet at Lowe's and the light, and just you put it anywhere you want. I'm gonna put it down low because being blind, I want to cast a shadow on this groove that I just etched in there. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. So you can see it pretty well that way. But if you have the light in a different place, like over here, it's not as visible. I mean, it's there, but if you cast a shadow, it looks a lot better. For blind people like me. Oops. Alright. If you're wondering why my bandsaw sounds like a jackhammer, that's because my beautiful carbide tip $112 blade said it doesn't like cutting metal, like metal clamps. So it lost a few teeth, but it still rips like hell. Just noisy and awkward. All right, I'll do a little cutting, then I won't bore you anymore. Well, actually, the dog wants to come in. Okay. The camera is in the way. I need to lower the light, but I can't even see it. So I will finish the job and see you soon. Another high-tech jig. That's a dog barking. Okay, I can make more noise than that. That's pretty good. Good enough. Oh, there's a high spot right there. That's the inside. We don't care what that looks like. It's going to get charred. Okay, time to cut the bevel. Another day, another task. All right, here we are. We're going to be cutting the bevel. And we want the bevel, this is a representation of the chime. What I do is I like a nice long bevel like this. And you want it to fit in there snug. Pretty good. You don't want to go all the way in because then you can wail away at it and get a really good tight seal all the way around. That's one way of doing it. Or you can just do it, cut it once, and because nobody sees the inside, and you get a nice high bevel there, which I don't care much for myself. I think it looks better like that. The only reason I'm cutting a long bevel is so that it will go into the chime a lot easier. You could, if you wanted, you could take it on a router table and use a monster panel bit and do that on both sides or one side. You can use a 45 bit, but that to me is just too small of a bevel. It'd be hard to ram it home. But the important thing is, and the only thing is, you have to reduce it, however you do it, to that thickness to fit in the chime, whatever chime you use. See, it's stuck in there. But I don't have a fancy router table for this monster. That one's too steep for me, so I use the table saw. I've got this set at 15 degrees. You can set it however you want. You can just barely cock it and get a really long bevel. Yeah, let's put old Mr. Disc in there. Only problem is, it's not stable. I don't want to be putting that into a saw. But I'm going to try a new trick, because I've been cutting it this way. So I've got a new trick I'm going to try. So what I'll do, come over here. I'm going to, I do this on the back side so I don't hurt anything. There we go. Okay. I'll take a little bit of glue. A little dab will do ya. And I'm just going to put a little tiny bit on each one of these. Like that. I hope that'll work. I don't know. Oops. A little bit there, a little there. Make sure you got plenty on there. I hope this works. There we go. That's good. Hopefully that'll 25 pounds. Alright, that shouldn't take more than an hour to do its job. The reason I'm only gluing a little tiny bit is I'm going to flag these things later. I need to take it apart. These are cattails I dug up from the side of the road. I'm actually growing some now. Also, anyway, if you're wondering about my long straight finger here, when I was a kid, I punched the window. Now I'm paying for it. Yeah. Also, all this bloody mess here, you can blame the dog for that. That's Molly. She's a pup, ripping me to shreds. All right, we'll let that dry, and then we'll come back and go to the table saw. All right, it's been more than an hour. It doesn't seem to want to move too much. I'm not going to tax it. I'm going to just be gentle. I'm going to do the outside first, just in case it wants to fall apart on me. All right. Now, if you had a router table, you wouldn't have to go through all this. But I don't. I'm a poor man. Let's see how it comes out. you get the idea. Whoop. I'm going to have to make an adjustment. Yep. It's a little too big. But I won't bore you with that. I'm going to go ahead and finish it up. And I'll be back. All right. It came out nicely. It fell apart very easily, but it held together. Also, I just take a minute to get rid of all the glue. I've done all that. But it came together pretty well. All right, next step. I don't know if this is necessary, but it can't hurt. I'm going to flag every seam. And like I said, these are cattails I dug up on the side of the road. So, I just like to split it open there, and we'll split it open there. Get on there. Yeah, that's pretty good, I guess. That baby ain't gonna leak. And also by adding that extra length this way, you're gonna compensate for the fact that it actually compresses that way. So it'll probably come out perfect. But of course. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and flag all of these, clean it up, sand it, and then we're gonna knock the hoop off of that and put that baby in. That's the fun part and frustrating too. So until then, have to have a little wine before lunch, and then a siesta. So I might get another one in today. Who knows? Cheers. Well, always forget something. But we need to char. I lightly charred that with this. And I also put a little bit of flagging or reed on the end there, and I used a little double-sided tape. Yeah, I know I cheated, so what? Anyway, so next step is to go ahead and char this. I just use this good old propane. Doesn't take much. Start there. That way you allow the heat to move forward instead of pulling the heat behind you. So this can free heat. See, I'm getting a good flame now. Starting to hear the crackle. Crackle. Yeah, you want to push it in front of it like a bush fire. See all the flames and animals run out the other edge. I'll go ahead and finish that up, and I'll be back. Okay, that's done. I was gonna work on this thing right now, but the inside of that barrel right now is 147 degrees. And the outside, it's just gonna get hotter. It's 97 degrees. I'm gonna let this thing cool down because I don't want to put the head in while the barrel's hot. An expanded barrel, so to speak. Actually, that might be a good idea. I'll think about it. Alright, it's still warm, but it's okay. Alright, next step. Get a little acetone here. A little acetone there. I'm going to make myself a handle. Using some double-sided tape. Where did they go? I'm not very organized. Yeah, looking for my scissors, but I'll use that. Yeah, like I want to put scratches in my top. Shame on me. Oh, there they are. That's what I was looking for. Okay. That off. Do the nice smooth plain side. Yeah, I'll go like that. Okay. I can't find that one. There it is. Alright, off come the hoops. That opened it up. That will go down to the floor. There we go. I take my little handle. Oh well, I should have lined these up with the rivets. I'll just move the rivets. Nobody's perfect. Okay, this is going to be the face. Traditionally, the face goes horizontally. The head pieces. I think that's called the cant. That's a cant. Those are called middle pieces. I've done my homework. All right, I'm gonna use this stave from now on as the bung stave. Actually, I'm gonna put the bung stave up there because I'm gonna have to put a tap in here, and that cant is just too small for a tap. If I can get a tap in that one. The bung stave is the one on top. You got the bung stave and the rivets on the top, tap on the bottom. So, let's see, right there, I'm gonna pick that one. away at that. I'll be back. Well, looky there. It's in. I've already filed down the hoop so nobody gets hurt. Got one little crack right there, but that's not a problem. That'll swell up because there's no crack here. And I don't know what happened there. That scratch. But I could use many of the woodworkers' excuses like, oh, it'll buff out, or it'll sand out, or a little patina won't hurt, or it's got character. You know, all excuse words. Okay, it's time now to do the other one. Ooh, it's dark in there. Hello. Ooh, can you hear wine in there? I'll see you back. I will be back soon. Okay, we got both heads in, and the next step, I didn't want to do this until I got the heads in, but we need to take care of that little gap right there, the transition between the inside. So what I do is I'm going to put a little mark about 1/4 of an inch right there. And then, whee! I'm going to take this bar that I use with my Splaymaster. I'm going to put it right on there, on that mark. And, you know, rock it until you get it perfectly flat. And then, oh yeah. Okay, just another detail I thought it'd be worth mentioning. All right. Next, that one off. Take that one off. Yeah, see, a head there, a head there. So we're gonna go off and sand this now. So you know where I'll be coming back. All right. I've sanded it down with 100 grit. 100 grit. All right. Next step is I'll just take the scraper. This is a Stuart McDonald scraper. These things are great, made out of tool steel. Stuart McDonald, Luthier Supplies. Okay, we can start taking it off. I'm not going to be taking the chine hoops off ever again. I'm done with those. But when I'm done with this, you can spend as much time as you want on it. I've already done a couple of them. You can see. Look at that smooth shine. At least I think you can see it. That compared to that. Alright. Then when I'm done with that, it's time to just take these booge hoops and just clean them up with a file. Like that. Spend as much time as you want on them. I'll take a little block of 100. A little 220. Well, you just spend as much time as you want. You gotta be really careful on the top side of the hoop. you can create some really nasty fish hooks. You got to make sure that they're all gone. I mean, they're nasty. I can feel them right there, but those things will get to be about, sometimes a ½ inch long. So you really need to clean up all this brutality. Okay, I'll be back. We're almost there. I scraped it, cleaned up the booge hoops, chalked them, put them back on. You don't have to tighten these up too much, just get them on. In fact, it's probably a good idea to fasten them with some screws because they always fall off. No big deal. So anyway, that's not bad for a scraper finish. I think I'll call that culo bambino. Culo bambino. As far as the finish is concerned, you don't want to varnish this because you want it to aspirate it. You want it to breathe because the liquid inside needs to come in and out of the wood with the temperature changes. So don't varnish it. They make a varnish for that, but it's just for appearance really. But I do like to seal the heads because they're very delicate. All kinds of things can go wrong. You can drop the barrel on like that or whatever. And it's not that much area to seal up. So what I do is I get some of this stuff. That's a food grade canning paraffin wax. You can get that in the baking section. What I do is I'll heat it up with some boiling water, a little paintbrush. And before I do that, I'm just going to warm it up a little bit. Just a little. See, that's already around 100 degrees. And make sure I don't get any water on it. Right here. Just put a generous amount on there. Don't be afraid. Just load it up. Load it up. Especially on the corners. It dries instantly. All right. That's one. Okay. Sealing the end grain is probably the important thing here. I guess you could get away with just sealing the end grain because that's the one that's going to breathe the most. It was kind of fun. Oh, I forgot to heat this one up. Damn it. No big deal. There. See, it's all ready to go. What I do is I'll just take a stick, this scrap piece of oak, and start removing the excess. Like that. Same thing here. Just remove the excess. That leaves it on there. You can put this stuff back in the pot. But just scrape it off. It leaves quite a bit on there. I've got this thing shaped just right so I can get in the corners. You can spend as much time as you want on it. But I won't bore you with that. I'm going to go ahead and do it, and then I'll come back. I've got it all scraped. What I'm going to do is give it a real quick burn just to level it off. See how fast it melts. Give it the melt again. It's called insta-leveling. Buff it. You can do it over and over again if you want. Get a nice thick coat on there. And you can buff it as much as you want. You can do the whole barrel if you don't plan on extracting anything out of the wood. If you want to just put other things in it, you can wax the whole barrel and it really looks nice. I like that look. Anyway, look, a complete barrel. I don't bung it, or I don't bung it, and I don't tap it until I know what I'm going to do with it. Because I might just turn this thing into a drum. I don't know. But you got to have a place to put it. So I make these cradles out of the same material. And I keep these unfinished. That's the original barrel. Just so people could know where it came from. That was the inside, outside. That was an old stave and little felt pads. So, come on, baby. Oh, wait a minute. We gotta do the anvil test. That is tight. That is a tight barrel. Okay, you want to go in your cradle? You want to take a nap? Okay, there you go. Oop, got some wax there. Anyway, there she goes. I'll be back one more time.